What's up, guys? I'd just like to touch on the sensitive topic that's going around the world right now about, everybody fearing and about the virus and stuff. And I'd just like to say that I don't fear death. I don't fear death. I tell you this day, the only man that fears death is the man that is on his way to judgment or thinks that he's going to hell. This is the only fear that people have. Ultimately, it's the only fear they have. They fear death because the uncertainty of where they're going in the afterlife. And if you understand the truth and you know the truth, you will not fear death because you know that the next destination and even the current destination that I'm currently in is heaven. For I'm no longer dead, I'm no longer alive, but dead to the law of Moses. And I am alive to Christ and his salvation. Now, what people don't understand is, they want to come and quickly fill their oil lamps because they have no oil, and, they want to get right with God as quick as possible. And the route that they choose is a route of religion where they think they must change first. And this is impossible. Jesus Christ himself said that, fine, if you want to try and get to heaven yourself by going through the law of Moses, go for it. But let me tell you this much, that if you even think of your brother or your sister as an idiot, you are in judgment of hellfire. So unless your mind is perfect 24/7 and you can keep it like that forever, then you stand a chance to go to heaven. But let me tell you this as well, that since the fall of Adam, all people were condemned. Before they even had a chance to think evil, they were condemned because of Adam. And what's beautiful is that the same applies to Jesus Christ crucified. That before even people could think about trying to change, Jesus Christ was crucified. That means God has already redeemed you. You are at peace with God. The only time that you disappoint God is when you reject his love and the fact that you're already forgiven. This is very important. The only way we disappoint God is by rejecting his Son and the sacrifice which he paid for us to freely enter heaven. It's the fact that we don't know we're loved and that we're already forgiven and that we don't need to try and change. And then we get to that verse, so what shall we sin so that grace abound? No, of course not. But it's not about whether you sin or not. It's about Jesus Christ crucified. The veil was torn that we may come into God's presence 24/7, unconditionally, in our current circumstance, so that love will revive us from our fallen state. Love changes us. It's the love of God that changes us, and it's the absence of God's love that makes us worse. Many of us will cross an ocean to save a soul, only to make him 2 times the devil by telling them that if they dare sin again, they're going straight to hell. And that's not the case. Jesus Christ has died for you, and you are at peace with God. Thanks be to God that we have peace with him because of Jesus Christ. And once we accept this message, we no longer fear death. We no longer fear at all. Because we're at right standing with God. It's like everything we ever did was only to please God. Whether we knew it consciously or not, we only did it to please God. And now we're at right standing with God through Jesus Christ. And the only thing we need to do is accept that Jesus Christ crucified is enough. That's the only thing we need to do. And without it, we can do nothing. People speak about, Paul and Peter, the very man speaks about it in the Testament, both men speak about it in the Testament, but these words, the words of the Holy Spirit, is coming from a man that denied Jesus 3 times to his face after walking side by side with him. And another man that used to crucify the followers of Jesus Christ and persecute them. This is coming from people like you and me, that after many years of following Christ could then say that they can show they've changed in their lives because of the love of God. These people didn't change overnight. If anybody's putting pressure on you to change, it is not from God. The trust is ours, the work is God's. It's very important to understand this. Where people were brought to Jesus, they were brought to Him to be healed by them, by Him. He didn't give them instructions and say, yeah, follow this list and you'll be healed. No, He said, just believe that I am able and I will heal you. And within an hour they were healed because Jesus Christ has that authority. You're not free until the Son of God has set you free. And we are free from condemnation. Sin has no power over us because it can no longer condemn us. A lot of people seem to think once again that maybe this will make us more evil. On the contrary, when love starts to enter your life, it starts to do things that you cannot fathom. And it does everything that you can't do. But the problem with fear is this. Fear makes a man worse. It is the fear of doing something that tempts a man to actually do it. Fear is brothers with sin. They work together. If sin cannot condemn you, then sin has no control over you. But if sin knows that you don't know the truth, that you're already forgiven, and you think you can still be condemned, it will use that fear to stir up even more sin within you. A condemned man only becomes more condemned. And a man who is in salvation only becomes more saved. The message of grace has no limit. Where sin abounds, grace abounds deeper. We've got to understand this. And this is the point. It's the point of life. It's not about what happens in this world. It's about what happens in the afterlife. And you can know that you have peace with God through Jesus Christ crucified. And only because of Jesus Christ crucified. No one comes to the Father except through me. He didn't say except if you change. Or if you do good works. Or if you don't sin. No, He said except through me. Anyone who believes in me is already saved, but anyone who denies me that I am enough is already condemned. He is the gatekeeper. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And when I received Jesus Christ in my life as a testimony in my own life, was the day that I accepted the message that He died on the cross for me. And there's nothing I can ever do to upset God. And there's nothing I can ever do to please God because of Jesus Christ crucified. And that's why I'm at peace with God. It's very important to understand this. Amen. God bless you guys. Keep well. Keep safe.